What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pub Sports Radio and welcome to the Draftkings Picks and Prediction Show for UFC 288. We have a 14-fight card and a very good card, stacked from top to bottom, stacked from a Draftkings perspective. Cannot wait to talk about it all. Before we get started, if you guys can please leave a like on the video. Also, subscribe here to Pub Sports Radio. We go live every Wednesday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time to talk some Draftkings. I am here with Weezy, Monk, and Lou. Stepping in for Gordo, we'll kick it to you first. Weezy, are you looking forward to UFC 288?
Damn right I am. This is a hell of a card. I'm really looking forward to all of these fights. Even some of the lower level fights like Braxton Smith versus Parker Porter or Ribeiro versus Holmes. They're going to be great, really fun fights. So yeah, this is the matchmakers did a fantastic job, and this is going to be a great card. So let's figure out ways to make it even better by making some money off of it.
Let's do it. We got Monk in the building. Monk, what is up? You looking forward to this card?
What's up, boys? Yes, I certainly am. I think there's a couple of absolutely must plays on this card. Even before one of the guys dropped out, I think we had a must play on the card. But yeah, one of my guys from Omaha, Drew Dober, fighting. Always love to see him fight. My girlfriend doesn't mind watching him either. I don't know why. I think she's like just respects his fighting probably for the most part. Other than that, man, there's some great fights. Like Weezy said, he nailed it. I mean, the whole undercard is filled with possible bangers. So yeah, I'm super excited for this one.
Yes, sir. And last but not least, we got Lou stepping in for Gordo. Lou, you looking forward to the card?
I mean, now that I've seen Kron, Gracie, and Zalgas's haircuts, it's hard not to be excited. All jokes aside, going to be there. So, that's cool. And number two, I may have the most action I've had on a UFC card in quite some time on this. There's 12 betting spots I like. So I love seeing that. I mean, I've been betting 1 or 2 spots a week. So I love it. I see some same game parlays I like. But I see some lineups and a lot of people in this pool that I really want to play. And that's why I'm glad I'm doing the show, because the challenge is, how do we narrow it down a little bit?
Yes, sir. And you're lucky you get to be there. So when Parker Porter gets a takedown on Braxton Smith, you're going to feel the whole arena shake, I'm imagining, right?
I'm going to jump 9 feet in the air.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. I mean,
it's gonna be like when Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre the Giant. It's gonna be electricity in the air. You can cut it with a knife.
You might feel it in the whole state of New Jersey, that's for sure, with that guy. But we're gonna get right into it here. We're gonna start as always with the fight to target, and I will kick us off. Speaking of Parker Porter, I'm targeting this fight very heavily this week. It's an ugly fight, but it's a fight I think scores very well. Last I saw, it was like minus 500. Fight doesn't go to decision, which is the most likely fight to end inside the distance. The under 1.5 rounds is juiced to like minus 195. So it's safe to say this fight is going to finish, and this fight probably finishes really early. You got Braxton Smith sitting at 7,600. I think his upside is a first round knockout. And then you got Parker Porter sitting at 8,600. If he wins, it's probably a first round finisher as well, but this fight does get extended. It heavily does favor him. So going to be on both sides here. I think the winner scores very well and probably gets a first round finish. Weezy, what is your favorite fight to target for UFC 288?
I'm going to go with Dober versus Frevola. This should be a war. Either Frevola goes out there and he wrestles his ass off, in which case he racks up a ton of points, or they stand and bang, which means somebody's getting served. Either way, this should be a high-volume fight that finishes inside the distance. Frevola fights are great to target in general on DraftKings. He's scoring 3.63 DraftKings points per minute, and he's allowing 3.96. And his fights just have a ton of knockdowns. Frevola, 5 knockdowns. Frevola has absorbed 5 knockdowns. So we're talking about high-scoring points with the potential for wrestling, a high potential for a finish. Fantastic fight to target both sides of this week.
I like it. Monk, what fight are you targeting the heavy this week?
That was definitely my main one. I'll give you a backup. We'll go with the first fight of the night, something I generally don't do, but this week I kind of like it. Daniel Santos and Johnny Munoz Jr. I just think they're both cheap enough. You can get either one in your lineup. Santos looked fantastic against John Castaneda, and most importantly to this show, he put up almost 120 points in a second round finish. So that is a crazy amount of points. I mean, landed 2 takedowns, had a little bit of control time, and landed a knockdown there as well. So he looked good against an established UFC vet. The other side, I should say, Johnny Munoz Jr., if he can get a takedown game going, this is a possible rinse and repeat situation as far as takedowns go. Maybe a decent amount of control time as well. He did control like all the way back to Nate Maness, controlled almost 65% of that 15-minute fight. So we know we've got it in him. I am a bit worried about his chin. That Tony Gravely spot was not a great look. But other than that, I think the winner of this fight could score well in a finish or a decision. Obviously, if it looks to finish, it's probably Santos. But I think Munoz could rack up some points on the ground.
Sounds good. Another great fight. Lou, what is your favorite fight to target for this week?
Well, none of you guys said these, and I'm not going to say it either, but I've never seen a main event and a co-main event where the highest of the four was priced at 8,200. So I'm just going to throw that out there for those. But I'm going to go with Charles Jourdain and Kron Gracie. Jourdain, eighth most expensive guy on the slate. Not bad, 8,700. Even in decision wins, he's getting 92. Gracie's coming off such a big layoff that I do think the finish equity is there on the Jourdain side. He's going to throw tons of volume. And on the Gracie side, it's very simple. This could be one takedown and it's over. Any win for him is going to, I think 100% of his win conditions in the distance. It's going to involve, it could be in the first round. He could easily break the slate with 100 some points. He's 7,500, which is super cheap for a guy that has a very clear path to win. So I'm going to be looking at both sides of the Jourdain and Gracie fight.
Sounds good. Yeah, we gave 4 there, but there's just so many more fights to target. Lou mentioned the main event, the co-main event, and much, much more that I'm sure we'll touch on throughout the show. But we're going to go now to our fight to fade. I'll kick this one off to Monk. Monk, what fight are you fading for this week? Kind of tough to find one, in my opinion.
It really is. I'll give you one that's, not the most obvious, but kind of, at least to me, according to the stats. And that's one of the women's fights here. Marina Rodriguez going against Virna Jandiroba. There's just not a lot of scoring here. I'm actually looking forward to watching this fight. I think it's an exciting fight, especially at the strawweight division. It's going to tell us a lot about that range of fighter in the division. But overall, when they win, Jandiroba's putting up like 91 points in her 4 3-round strawweight wins. Marina Rodriguez in her 4 3-round strawweight wins, only 81.35. So I wouldn't say a clear striker versus grappler type situation, but one of them definitely, Rodriguez getting outscored inside the distance 3 to 4.5 points. And then Jandiroba's the opposite, scoring 3.5 inside the distance, giving up just 2.3. So it's going to be interesting to see whose game will take over here. But as far as DraftKings scoring, just not looking forward to this one at all.
Yeah, Lou, which fight are you fading this week?
Yeah, Monk stole mine. Also, that's the highest fight goes the distance line of the card, the Marina and Virna fight. This is going to sound like counterintuitive. I'm going to fade the Khaos Williams and Bedoya fight. I know Williams has this reputation for explosive finishing, but at this salary, he probably needs a round 1 finish to pay it off, especially in a card with so many people in that like mid and lower range that can score really well. And if you get past his first 2 wins where he got the quick win bonus, the Semmelsberger's win, he got 74 points in a decision. The Baeza win, the late knockout, he got 78 points. He's also faced Bedoya, who, look, I don't think Bedoya is very good, and I'm fading him completely. But if you listen to me all year, fading these dudes that have never been finished, we don't know if Bedoya is stupid tough. We have seen him knock down. I don't know if he's stupid tough. I don't know if he can survive more than 1 round. And if he does, this thing hits the second round, and it's only 1 knockdown and a finish. He's may not even 10x his salary, Khaos Williams. So I'm going to go against the field here and completely fade this fight.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit different here. I'm going to fade the Kennedy and Nzechukwu Devin Clark fight. I actually really like Kennedy this week, like a lot. And I think he finishes his fight in the 2nd or 3rd round. But I also think there's guys with either a ton of grappling upside, like Movsar, Evloev at 9,400. I think there's guys with finish upside, like Drew Dober, Khaos Williams as well. And I think Kennedy, he starts slow. And I think if this fight does get into the 2nd and 3rd round, I don't know if he has the higher ceiling of those other guys. So fading this fight, completely actually, but I do really like Kenny to go out there and knock out Devin Clark in the 2nd and 3rd. Weezy, which fight are you fading this week?
Yeah, I don't think you fade any fights this week, to be honest with you. When you go up and down this card, there really are no fights to fade. You can make a case for getting literally any of these 28 fighters into your lineup. So the one I'm giving you is Evloev versus Lopez. And it's counterintuitive, and I'm going to contradict myself later on in the show, but that's just because you shouldn't be fading any of these fights. But, Lopez doesn't really have much upside this week. We saw in the Joe Anderson-Brito fight that he could be taken down and just ridden out for 3 rounds. And if Joe Anderson-Brito is doing that to you, Movsar Evloev definitely can do it to you. So, there's really not a lot of upside in him this week. And, Evloev, the price kind of is right. You probably don't need to really fade him, but you could. You could easily fade Evloev and get a bunch of other fighters that have got a ton of upside in your lineup. So, yeah, don't fade any fights this week. It would be a really bad idea. There are some great leverage plays out there. Everybody's live.
Yeah, I don't think there's an easy fade this week. And pretty interesting, we all gave 4 different fights. Did not expect that. But we'll move on to the fighter to fade. I'll start with you, Monk. Which fighter are you fading for this week?
Well, I'll give you half of the main event. I'll just get it out of the way right now. I like Aljamain Sterling. I'm a big fan of him and Merab's and that whole entire camp for the most part. I'll just get, I mean, I don't think Henry Cejudo is where he was at 3 years ago. I do think Henry Cejudo was one of the most athletically gifted people we've ever seen in the sport 3 years ago. I don't think he remains one of the most athletically gifted people in the sport today. This could go one of two ways. I could be very wrong about fading Henry Cejudo, but even so, he never really scored that well. His DFS gift was more of a defensive side of things, where his opponent is definitely not scoring well for the most part, but he generally didn't score well. He had trouble hitting triple digits, which is interesting for triple C. I'm going to be fading Henry Cejudo here, 8,100. I know the price is probably right, but it could look bad for me, or it could be, remember when Nick Diaz fought Robbie Lawler, and then right afterwards we were all looking at the picture of Nick Diaz and we were like, what the fuck were we thinking? That could be exactly what's happening with Henry Cejudo here. So I'm on the Sterling side. I will be fading Cejudo pretty big. I'll be well under the field here. That's going to open me up for several other plays. Get some leverage there.
Very interesting. I think Cejudo is going to be super low owned. So if you're right, Monk, you're going to have a huge advantage over on the field. For me, I'm going with Marina Rodriguez, 8,500, going against Virna Jandiroba, who I do think can win this fight. I do think she can mix in takedowns. And if Rodriguez wins this fight, she's not going to get takedowns, obviously. And I think if she does win, it's either a decision or potentially a late finish. 8,500. Won't be having any of Rodriguez this week. Weezy, what fighter are you fading this week?
Yeah, same here. I still think Marina does win this fight, but most likely she's going to be low volume, trying to pot shot from the outside, and she needs to be very careful not to let Virna get her down. So she only scores 2.4 Draftkings points per minute, so that's only 66 points in a decision win at that rate. So she feels like a safe fighter to fade this week because she's just going to be, Virna is not going to just stand and strike with this woman. So, I think she's going to be defending a lot of takedowns here. And I think Virna is going to eat up a lot of the clock grappling, and Marina is going to eat up a lot of his clock playing defense. So I don't like her at all this week.
Yep. And then Lou, which fighter are you fading this week?
I'm going to use a lot of Weezy's logic just for a different fight. I'm going to fade Patty the Batty Zumagulov at 7,900. I mean, he's 1-5 in the UFC. He can't win a decision to save his life. But even if he wins this, he's going to have Estevam, who I think his cardio is really good. He's going to have Estevam just on him for 15 minutes, hunting takedowns. If he's not getting takedowns, he's going to have Zhalgas against the cage. The best thing Zhalgas is going to be able to do is hope that Estevam gets tired. Zhalgas isn't really a big finisher. He's going to have to land some strikes. I think this could be like your Blagoy spot where he gets if he wins, he's going to score like 58 in a win. He's not even going to 10x his salary. So I don't even know if I'm betting that fight. Like, part of me just I wanted Zhalgas to win until today. Yeah. I no longer want him to win. But I don't know how he pays off even 7,900 as a salary.
Yeah, I don't know how he pays it off with the haircut I saw today. It was probably one of the most atrocious things I've seen in some time. It was the mixture of he had a bowl cut, but it was long in the back. It
was a big bowl.
It's one of the most atrocious things I've seen until you look at his chin. That's the most atrocious thing I've ever seen.
And then he has I don't know, that facial hair
sucks.
That's what I mean. That's worse than his haircut.
I don't know.
He looks like he's like that chin hair. It looks like he's in a boy band and trying to be the tough one that has the facial hair and maybe a tattoo somewhere on his body. But at the end of the day, he's singing and dancing he's
28, but he's trying to pass as 19.
He was in Menudo. He was in Menudo 30 years ago.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Thanks, Brady.
Yeah. Look at that vacant stare. Look at that.
The judges broke this, man.
They did. And so did his barber.
All right.
Half the audience just tuned out.
Imagine waking up and just seeing this.
Well, 7 women.
7
apparently think
people
it's
do
okay.
that.
There's 7 people who are like, give me some of that.
That is wild. That's a wild. He
One
better
chin hair for each
fix
of his
that.
wives.
He better fix that by fight time, or he's not winning the fight. My goodness. We'll move on then to our favorite dog on the slate. There's a lot of dogs that do stick out. We'll start with you, Lou. Who's your favorite dog this week?
Oh man, I'm gonna hate myself, but Phil Hawes has to be my favorite dog on this card. His last wins 135, 95, 96, 128. I realize he has some quick wins in there, but he's got great takedown defense. He's 100% in the UFC. I'm not impressed with Aliskerov at all in his tape. The Burrell fight, I was not impressed with the way he enters. I don't think he's going to have takedowns easy in this fight. And if this thing stays on the feet, I like Hawes boxing so much better than I like Aliskerov. Yes, I worry about Hawes fatiguing, and yes, I worry about him getting bombed. But I think he's going to win this fight by knockout. Brady, we talked today about like this Hawes round 1, round 2 prop is plus 350. I really like it as a look here. I think any win Hawes gets is over 100 points. And at his salary, I mean, get all day with Hawes for me right here.
Yeah, I'll be talking about him later on as well for another section. Monk, who's your favorite dog this week?
I mean, Phil Hawes is my favorite dog this week for sure. I'll go with somebody Lou already mentioned, though. Kron Gracie, surprisingly to myself, is someone that I will have a bunch of this week simply because I do not trust Charles Jourdain at all. I don't know how anybody could. I don't know how you could at $8,700. That's ridiculous, but it does make Kron Gracie $7,500. He's already going to be extremely low owned. Rightfully so. He hasn't fought in over 3.5 years. In fact, tomorrow it'll be 1,300 days since he did not attempt to take down Cub Swanson. We'll hope that changes in this fight here against Jourdain. Like Lou mentioned, hoping for a round 1 sub. I mean, this dude is a legit Gracie. I'm just hope to see a takedown or two and just get it done early, man. Don't fuck around with Charles Jourdain. Just get it done early. And he should have some value there on his $7,500 salary.
Yep, I like that one. Weezy, who's your favorite dog for this week?
I am going with Phil Hawes. I think Phil's going to be really dangerous early. He's got fantastic takedown defense. And from what I've seen on tape, Ikram's wrestling is solid, but there's nothing on tape to suggest that he's going to go out there and ragdoll Phil Hawes, especially not early. I think the price is right at 7,100. Phil has power. He scores 4.97 DraftKings points per minute. So I think at 7,100, he's a high upside choice. He is not out of his depth in this fight. And I've been so close to just betting his money line all week.
Sounds good. Yeah, I like some Phil Hawes too, but I'm going to go with the very handsome Virna Jandiroba. How can you not? We were talking about this earlier, Weezy. We don't write the rules, but the rule has always been bet on the handsome fighter, and she's obviously the most handsome fighter. Arguably on this card, I know it's tough between her and Andrade. I like them both this week, but wrestling upside and lots of it. 7,700. Rodriguez, what does she struggle with? She struggles with the takedown defense. What else does she struggle with? She struggles with getting up. You know, once she gets taken down, she's not getting back up, and you do not want the very handsome Virna Jandiroba on top of you. I think there's takedown upside, control time upside, and I also think there's sneaky submission upside as well for Virna. So like me some Virna, 7,700, but I also do like the Gracie call and then the Hawes call as well. Lots of solid dogs sticking out in this card. All right, what we're going to do now is let's touch on some prize picks here. Bring up the banner. Use that promo code PUBSPORTS for a deposit bonus up to $100. I will kick it to you first. Monk, what stuck out to you on prize picks this week?
I mean, I went through almost all of them and saw this one at the very end and literally laughed out loud. Jéssica Andrade, 81.5 points. Really?
Goodness.
I'm going way over that. I mean, I have her, like, we might talk about it later, but I have her absolutely dominating over Xiaonan. She dominates at strawweight. She always has. She's 6-1 at the weight class. 5 of those 6 wins over 100 points. And it's set at 81.5. Get this in before someone realized they made a mistake.
Yeah, I'm actually going the same route, kind of. I'm going Jéssica Andrade as well, but I'm taking the over 1.5 round takedowns. I
Yep,
think if
that was
she
my
is,
second one.
yeah, because if she's having success in this fight, she's taking down Xiaonan, who showed that she does not have any type of ground game whatsoever. I think Jessica goes out there, gets multiple takedowns, and eventually brutally finishes Xiaonan in the second or third round. I think the over 1.5 takedowns hits pretty easy, and I'm with you, Monk. I think the fantasy score hits very easy as well. Weezy, what's sticking out to you this week on Prize Picks?
Claudio Ribeiro under 7.5 minutes. Yeah, this is these guys have both got a ton of power, and Holmes has got about 5 minutes of gas. So if Holmes doesn't get Ribeiro out of there early, I think he's gonna wilt at the first power shot that lands on him, and that could happen in the first or second round here. So, and I think that if this does go past 7.5 minutes, you're going to have two very large gentlemen leaning on each other, not doing anything for the second half of the fight. So, yeah, I think that really goes under 7.5 minutes easily.
I like that call. Lou, what do you like on Prize Picks this week?
Monk, you and I are going to have a talk on Friday about this Jan Andrade fight. But
oh my God.
Drew Dober under 40.5 significant strikes. This fight's going to go one of two ways. If Frevola does implement grappling, he's not going to get a chance to throw them. And I don't see how Frevola withstands 40 strikes from Drew Dober in this fight.
So true.
Like, I don't. If it's on the feet for one round, it's going to be 10 strikes, 15, 20 strikes. No knock on Frevola, who I'll get to at some point later in this show, but I just don't see Dober needing that many to get him out of there.
Yeah, I agree. I like them all. Let's see if we can go 4 for 4 this week. That'd be very nice. But yeah, if you guys have not checked out Prize Picks, use that promo code PubSports there. Check it out. It's always a fun thing to do week in and week out. All right, we'll move on now to our favorite GPP play, and I will kick us off. We see Rolando there in the chat, and he's talking about some Claudio Ribeiro. And yes, I like Claudio Ribeiro, 8,900. I don't think either guy is really that good, but especially Joseph Holmes. I'm not really sure he's UFC caliber. And what Claudio Ribeiro does do is he hits very, very, very hard. He kicks very, very hard. And I think he has a really good chance to knock out Joseph Holmes. And even in the first round, and I think he's going to be semi-low owned because there's a lot of high owned plays around him. So I like Claudio Ribeiro to go out there, probably get a first round knockout and put up a major score at decently low ownership. Weezy, who's your favorite GPP play for this week?
Yeah, same thing. Ribeiro. Holmes has 1 round of gas, and his takedowns are dog shit. If he can't get this fight to the ground in the first or land a big shot, he's going to death gas, and he's going to be a sitting duck in rounds 2 and 3. And that's assuming Claudio doesn't land a big shot here in the first, because whenever he lands, the fight's going to probably be, done soon thereafter. So, high upside finisher who's facing an opponent with 1 round of gas. Let's go, Claudio.
Let's go. Lou, what are you liking for your favorite GPP play?
I'm going to go a little different here. I would say whoever you like in the co-main, but for me, I'm going with Gilbert Burns at 8,200. He's got 5 rounds to work. I don't think Belal has any finishing upside. I could tell you for a fact 2 tidbits. Belal has had to drop a lot of weight to make this fight. I have some news that he was over 200 pounds at one point in his camp. Burns has never stopped training since his last fight. He went right back to the gym, went right back to camp. I love what I see from Burns. I think he's the better striker. I think he has great grappling upside. I think even in a loss, he's probably going to score pretty well, but that's not what the GPP category is. I think over 5 rounds, he can get takedowns going. He could land tons of strikes. I do think he has finishing equity here. I think going to win, the worst he does is 110, 115 some points. So if you like Muhammad, I think he's great for this spot too. Just at this salary, I'll save 700 on Ribeiro. I'll take 5 rounds of Burns working his magic.
Sounds good. And then a Monk, who's your favorite GPP play?
We're gonna have a talk about that fight on Friday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you Movsar Evloev. I think this is the clear and just this is the auto play. This is a 100% roster me type fighter. He's the second highest fighter as far as salary goes this week, but for a good reason. I personally think he was going to run through Bryce Mitchell. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. We'll never know now. I still hold that opinion, but now he's fighting someone named Diego Lopez. Same salary, so Lopez is basically unplayable. Evloev, like I said, should roll through this guy. He went right through Dawodu, rolled through Dan Ige, who then smashed wrestler Damon Jackson at some point after that. Yeah, I just think Lopez will have nothing to offer. Evloev has put up, 5 straight decisions, but in his last 2, 130 points, 138 points. He's going to be able to do whatever he wants here. So finish inside the distance rather, or goes the distance. I think Evloev is an incredibly smart play to put in every single one of your DraftKings lineups.
Yep, and that's going to be a good transition for me. Actually, no, for my favorite cash play, I'm actually going to go with Jéssica Andrade here, 8,800. I love the takedown upside. I think it's a really good matchup for her. I think people are really low on Andrade after her last performance. She looked like crap, but she took that fight on a week short notice. Apparently, she was like on vacation at the time of accepting the fight. She was probably drinking. She was probably eating very bad, and it showed in her performance. She looked terrible. Completely different matchup. I think a favorable matchup. And as she does win this fight, she has a ton of upside, tons of strikes, tons of takedowns, and finish upside as well. So let me some Andrade and cash, 8,800. Monk, who's your favorite cash play this week?
Yes.
Are you muted?
I'm muted, of course. Sorry, my whole Excel is completely frozen up here. So I'm going to give you. Yeah, that's true. Charles Jourdain. I know I said I wanted to fade this fight or fade him as a whole. I don't remember which one it was. I don't at this point I can't remember. But he scores very well even in losses. Like I don't trust him to go out there and get a win 100% of the time. But he scores very well in his losses. In fact, almost 60 in one of his last 2 losses. So he's constantly been in the 40s and the 50s. Like I said, I don't trust him to get the win, but I like his scores and losses. So that's just what we need for cash. 8,700, you would hope he gets the win there, but just in case he doesn't, I'm hoping he still scores well.
All right. Sounds good. And then Lou, who's your favorite cash play this week?
I mean, it's got to be Evloev for me. If you just look at, I don't need to explain why. We've touched on it enough times. All I'm going to say is his money line versus his salary, is a must play. Just the
Did you
value.
see the money line yet?
Yeah, it's minus 600.
That's it.
That's going to be minus 800 by the end of the sentence. But
I thought it would open up at that.
I saw on Twitter I'm pulling it up now. I don't know if DraftKings had it, but somebody had said it was minus 600. It is minus 600. So minus 600 for a 9,400 salaried guy all day for me. Yes, you should play him in all formats, but the problem is when you play him in cash, now it's just a 5-on-5 lineup. Because if you don't play Evloev in cash, I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah, free, almost a free. I mean, Diego Lopez's path to victory is like a submission off his back, and I don't know if that's working against Evloev.
His path to victory is Evloev tears his ACL getting into the cage. And even then, I'm not sure he's a favorite.
Yeah. Dixon, we already did this. We already did this segment. We already did it. I can do it again. Maybe later, Sean, I'll do it again. But
no, we don't want to lose all the viewers.
The handsome meter is already off the charts.
That is true.
I don't know if I could take it a second time.
No, I mean it's not Photoshop. That was unfortunately a real. I can't do Photoshop. It's a real picture. All right. I think we're up to Weezy, Monk. Weezy?
It's me for cash play, and it's Evloev, 9,400. He's probably going to wind up being a minus 1,000. It's a free square, and the dude scores an absolute shit ton of DraftKings points. Just put the free square in there and then figure out the rest of your lineup. Perfect.
All right. Let's move on to our favorite value play. You guys touched on him so many times, but why not touch on him one more? I'm going to go with Khaos here, 7,100. I think it's a very winnable matchup here. I think stylistically, if he can stuff these takedowns, he's going to have a massive advantage on the feet. He has a ton of power. Aliskerov knocked out in his only loss. I think Khaos is very live to stuff these takedowns, keep it on the feet, and be the better striker and potentially get an early finish. If this fight does get extended, like say late second, third round, I do have concerns. I do have concerns about the chin. But I think it's a matchup that he can very well win at 7,100. If he does get taken down, I have some serious concerns as well, but there's no evidence saying that he's ever been taken down. I went and watched all his UFC fights outside the UFC. I've never seen him taken down. Could Aliskerov be the first one? We'll have to find out. But if not, I think it's such a winnable fight for him at 7,100. Weezy, who's your favorite value play this week?
I'm going to give you guys Henry Cejudo this week. He's only 8,100. He can get takedowns whenever he wants them. It's a 5-round fight. Hendry scores 3.39 DraftKings points per minute. So even in a decision loss at that rate in a 5-round fight, he's scoring 84.75 points. So that's value. Takedowns and control time should pile up for Hendry here. Look, we've talked about it before. Aljamain Sterling is a good wrestler, but Henry Cejudo is a gold medal winning wrestler. And Peter Yan took down Aljamain Sterling 7 times. Can you imagine how easy it's going to be for Cejudo to go out there and get takedowns against this guy? You remember what Aljo said after that Yan fight? How did you get taken down 7 times? He blamed it on the rotation of the earth, saying that had gotten him off. And that's bullshit. That we all deal with the rotation of the earth, not just you when you're in the cage. So that's, I just think that Cejudo, if he doesn't like how this fight's going on the feet at any point, he can shoot a takedown and put Aljo on his ass and keep him there for a while.
Yep, I like it. Monk, who do you like for value play this week?
Well, I'm going to double down and go Jéssica Andrade. She's going to honestly be the second most owned person in my entire on my entire card out of anybody. I know she's 8,800, and yes, I do think there is a ton of value still on that high salary. She's 6-1 at strawweight, almost 75 minutes. She scores 5.85 points a minute, allows 2. At distance, despite being like 5'1", she's outscoring her opponents by 0.5 point per minute at distance. Inside the distance, in those 75 minutes, 11 points per minute, allowing less than 2. She scores 123 per win. What is 87.5% takedown defense, controls 96.5% of all the grappling time she is involved in, as one of the highest ceilings on the card. 5 out of those 6 wins over 100 points. Yeah, I love Jéssica Andrade, and like I said, I think there's a ton of value even on that $8,800 salary here.
Yep, and Lou, who's your favorite value play this week?
There are 3 people on this card who I think can get a quick finish bonus on this. One is Drew Dober, one is Ribeiro, and the other one is Braxton Smith. I think if this guy wins, his win condition is literally he's probably the only person ever where his win condition is the quick win bonus. It's 1 minute. That's all that's literally the only way he's going to win. If this thing goes past 3 minutes, he's not winning. Any win he gets is going to be 100 some points easy. He's getting a knockdown. He's getting 90 points for the first round finish. Even if it's 1 punch, he's getting 101 points at, what is he, 7,500, 7,600. Like, I hate my life. I hate that I have to play this fight. But for what literally the only way he wins this fight is compared to his salary, like, he's like incredible value.
Yeah, I mean, I was picking Porter earlier in the week until I saw this surface the internet. I don't know if you guys can see it. This very picture.
Yeah, I saw this.
Apparently, Braxton Smith has brought in a Parker Porter lookalike to train with him, and I think that might be the secret to success. And believe it or not,
it's like King Hippo. It's like King Hippo from Punch Out.
Parker Porter brought in a Braxton Smith lookalike, and they're training together. He brought in William Knight. He's training with William Knight. So it's like, I'm being serious. Like, it's crazy. So they're both training with the other guy's lookalike. So, I mean, that's a really intriguing narrative there, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, what a mess of a fight, but it's a fight that has to be targeted. All right. Lastly, we have our dart throw. We'll let you kick it off. Lou, who you liking for a dart throw this week?
I don't think he wins, but you're crazy not to roster some of Matt Frevola at 7,000 here. His path to victory involves a grapple-heavy game and involves not getting bonked. I think even if he somehow survives, well, if it goes to decision, he's probably going to win this fight. And his decision prop's crazy to boot, but that's a different show. If Frevola can get 5-6 takedowns in this fight, which I don't think is completely inconceivable, because I do think Dober has a pretty good get-up game, how many points is he going to score in a win? I mean, he could easily get 100-some points in a decision win. So I still think Dober wins the fight, but Frevola's win condition at his salary, and he's the hometown guy here. So who knows?
Yep, I like it. For me, I'm going with Kron Gracie, 7,500. It's a dart throw for me just because he's not been in the cage for a very long time, 3.5 years. And on top of that, there actually is a photo surfacing of him and I'm not too happy about it, and I have to limit my exposure a little bit. But this is apparently what Kron Gracie's looking like nowadays as well. So obviously a terrible haircut. He looks like, I don't know what to explain what's going on.
You didn't put Charles Johnson up last week, so this is completely unfounded, and our lawyers object.
No, man, I think he's just doing a homage to the Nick Nolte mugshot from a few years ago right there. It's exactly a dead ringer when Nick Nolte got arrested for public intoxication. That's just Kron just pulling off that beautifully right there.
I hate Brady. I hate you doing this because his hair looks very similar to what my hair looks like right now. As I've been growing my hair out, this is kind of like what it looks like. So, like, I'm not showing it, but like, it's similar.
If anything, this tells you he's only 100% focused on the fight. He doesn't give a shit about his hair. So really, fair. You should be capping it the other way, in my opinion.
That is very fair. So maybe I should feel a little bit better about this dart throw. But Weezy, who's your dart throw for this week?
It's Gracie as well. I mean, this matchup is tailor-made for a BJJ world champ to get a quick win by submission. If he shows up, if he gives a shit still, I think he pays off his salary here. I mean, like, this guy Jourdain couldn't stop a takedown if his life depended on it. And Kron Gracie's wrestling looks like it's total shit, but it doesn't have to be great in order to get Charles down just once. And if he does that, he can get on his back. And once that dude's on your back, it's a wrap.
I agree. The only thing that scares me is, does this look like he's really giving a shit?
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't. No, it really doesn't look like he's giving a shit. But it never looked like in the cage that Charles Jourdain gave a shit about his takedown defense.
Was that photo taken in Newark, New Jersey?
Yeah.
Well, then he's there.
It was taken after he committed child arson. Is when that picture was taken.
My goodness.
He lit a child on fire?
He's a child arsonist in that picture.
I've never heard of a child arsonist.
It's way worse than arson, Brady. Way worse.
My goodness. That's what's happening in New Jersey. Good thing I'm not going to the card.
Dude, Newark is it's not a good place. It's not good.
Goodness. Well, I've never been.
Monk. Least controversial take ever.
Wow.
Yeah, hot take. Friday will be my last show ever, potentially.
Goodness. Oh my gosh. Be careful. Monk, who's your favorite dart throw?
Yeah, I like those two, so I'll just echo what Lou said. Matt Frevola, we'll go 2-2. Guy scores almost 9 points a minute inside the distance, so if he focuses heavy on his wrestling, not saying he will, because then we would need fight IQ from Matt Frevola, but if he does manage to do that, it could be a decent outcome, and at 7K, I mean, come on, any win is going to put him on the optimal. He also scores better than almost everyone on the card, controls almost 80% of the grappling time he's involved in, too, so give me Matt Frevola as a little dart throw.
All right. Let's move on then to our lineups for last week. We will give our lineups for this week. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns in the chat, be sure to type them in, and then we'll get to them shortly after this. But we're going to go to the lineups here. All right, last week we have in fourth place, we got Weezy, Stephanie Egger, 3.6, Josh Quinlan, 26, Ricky Simone, 36, Jamie Lynn Horth, 67, Song Yadong, 103, and then Waldo Cortez Acosta, 35. Weezy scored 272.39. In third place was Gordo. He had Caio Bahia, 106, Josh Quinlan, 26, Ricky Simone, 36, Jamie Lynn Horth, 67, Martin Budai, 81, and then Journey Newson, 7. Gordo scored 325.77. In second place was Monk with Stephanie Egger, 3.6. Rodolfo Vieira, 90.77. Josh Quinlan, 26. Ricky Simone, 36. Padilla, 108. And then Marcus McGee, 90. Monk scored 356.31. And then in first place, myself with Caio Bahia, 106. Rodolfo Vieira, 90. Ricky Simone, 36. Song Yadong, 103. Cody Durden, 129. And then Journey Newson, 7, scoring 474.36. We'll go to the totals now. We are 14 cards in. In fourth, we have Monk with 5,325. In third, we have Weezy with 5,353. In second, we have Gordo with 5,770. And then first, we have myself with 5,005. Gordo is now 135 behind me. Weezy is 552 behind me, and then Monk is 579 behind me. So yeah, got back in first. Curious to see how Gordo does this week. Maybe you can get it back, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident this week. So we'll see what we got. Weezy, do you have your lineup ready for this week?
Sure do. It is Movsar Evloev, Kennedy Nzechukwu, Claudio Ribeiro, Henry Cejudo, Kron Gracie, and no hype Phil Hawes.
All right. Lou, do you got a lineup for this week?
Yeah, and it should count for Gordo, by the way, because he's the one moving.
It's up to Gordo. He can tell you on it.
I'm going a little stars and scrubs approach here. Evloev, Dober, Ribeiro, no nonsense Phil Hawes or whatever Weezy just called him, Kron Gracie, and Braxton by God Smith.
Okay. Yeah, I'm taking Braxton. It's the refrigerator Smith, but I like by God.
Pork chop.
Pork chop. No, that feels like Parker Porter's nickname. Braxton Smith. Give me a very handsome Virna Jandaroba, taking Jéssica Andrade as well. Two handsome fighters. I think it's going to work out well. Give me Movsar Evloev, also decently handsome. Daniel Santos, and then Henry Cejudo. Monk, what is your lineup for this week?
I'll give you the winning lineup here. Movsar Evloev, Claudio Ribeiro, Jéssica Andrade, Aljamain Sterling, Kron Gracie, and Phil Hawes.
Perfect. Let's see how we do this week. All right. What we'll do now is I'll scroll up through the chat, see if we missed anything. The chat was pretty active today, so let's see. This can go to Weezy. Londo saying, anyone else excited for Braxton and Parker fight? Are you excited for it?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It's going to be a fun one. I mean, people are talking about how Parker's going to take this guy down. I mean, go into your kitchen, try to take down your refrigerator, see how that works for you. I mean, this guy might as well have 4 legs, because he's already 3 feet thick. So it's going to be such a fun fight. Somebody's totally going to get served there. And I'm going to be laughing my ass off no matter which way it goes, because my money's going nowhere near that fight. I'm just going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I have a lot of money on that fight, sadly, but we'll see what happens there. Dixon, this can be for Monk. Monk, did you see Kron's photo that looked like a hobo's mug shot?
You mean the super focused photo of Kron Gracie taken in Newark, New Jersey? Yes, I did see that. He is that looks like a man that's ready to beat someone that doesn't really know how to fight that well.
There we go. This can be for Lou. Did I miss Weezy talk about Zalgas's haircut?
I mean, he didn't have to. Brady did all the work for us, but Weezy is always threw his own classy spin on the
Weezy.
situation.
Yeah, Weezy, did we get your thoughts on the haircut? I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, like I was telling Brady earlier when he sent that to me over the chat. I was like, dude, at first I thought it was like a joke. Somebody put that on him and said, because Patty, gets love from the judges, and gets fights, like that he loses. They say he won. Like maybe he figured, all right, if I do the Patty the Batty haircut, maybe I'll win a close decision for once. But that's kind of my thought on that. I can't believe that's his haircut. I can't wait to hear Zalgas comment on that, because he owes us a fucking explanation as far as I'm concerned. You can't just do that. You're a public figure. If you're going to go out there and you're going to get a haircut like that, you owe everybody an explanation. The barbers in Kazakhstan couldn't possibly be that bad.
Yeah, he should go to jail for that haircut. That's the worst haircut I've ever seen. This can go to. I actually want to ask both Lou and Monk. We'll start with you, Lou. Is it crazy to fade both the co-main event and the main?
Yes, and I mean, because you have the prices for all these guys. 8,200. Move that comment. You can't even see my face. What are you doing here? 8,200. There you go. 8,200, 8,000 for the co-main event for guys that have equal 110, 120 point ways to win. The main event, I mean, everything Weezy said about Cejudo and his path is true, and everything Monk said about Sterling. Their paths to winning involve a lot of ways to get a ton of points per round. So I think you have to play almost all 4 configurations and lineups and let the rest of it figure itself out.
Yeah, I mean, I could see maybe fading 1, but fading 2, you'd have to have some balls, man. Monk, any thoughts on it?
Yeah, we just saw 2 weeks in a row of some. Well, and last week was the lowest lineup. We left $3,800 on the table. I know these aren't expensive fights, but they are sure going to have a lot of ownership. So if you're playing the leverage game, yeah, I could see definite possibilities where you could fade both fights and be okay. Especially the co-main event. Neither guy scores well. In fact, Muhammad's outscoring Burns almost every time, especially lately. And Cejudo does not score very well at all. Doesn't even, average triple digits in his last 5. So I think you could. There's a way that you could fade both.
And then I think this is the last one. Lou, I know you play captain mode. Who on the card has the highest ceilings for captain?
Let me just look at the fight order because it's probably going to be the last 8.
Just say Jéssica Andrade and we'll move on.
Out of these 8, if I'm just saying it's the top 8, even 9 fights wouldn't matter here. I mean, probably Andrade. If you get 10 fights, I would say you play Braxton Smith as the captain, and then you'll know right away if you won or lost. But if you're playing captain, I mean, there are a couple underdogs you could play on the main card that I think let the salary work because you got to play. You paying 1.5 for that. So
shit, roll the dice and put Phil Hawes in your captain spot, baby.
There we go. Awkward silence, eh? Awkward silence.
By the way, you can't play. You can't play Hawes and captain. I'm saying is that fight won't be available. Like, it's only like it's like the televised part of the slate. So,
perfect. All right. Lastly, we will give our quick picks and then we'll head out of here. Weezy, what are your quick picks for 288?
Okay, let me look.
Are you doing rounded method or just the pick?
Yeah, I'm going to give you that because this is everything that I came up with on just the tip last night. So So we're going Hendry Cejudo knockout round 4. We're going Gilbert Burns by decision. We're going Jéssica Andrade second round knockout. Movsar Evloev second round knockout. Charles Jourdain third round knockout. Drew Dober, one of 2 of Uncle Weezy's ass shavings of the week, first round knockout. The second ass shaving of the week, Kennedy Nzechukwu, second round knockout. Khaos Williams, first round knockout. Marina Rodriguez decision. Paca Porta, second round knockout. Ikram Aliskerov, third round submission. Zhalgas, the Beetle, Zhumagulov, decision. Claudio Ribeiro, second round knockout. Daniel Willie Catch Santos, third round knockout. Lots of knockouts.
Yeah, lots of finishes for sure. I'll start with the main event. This is my least favorite pick. It's going to be Aljamain Sterling, but I hate that pick. So we'll see what happens there. Belal Muhammad, 4th round knockout. Jéssica Andrade, 2nd round knockout. Movsar Evloev decision. Kron Gracie, 1st round sub. Drew Dober, 1st round knockout. Kennedy Nzechukwu, 2nd round knockout. Khaos Williams, 1st round knockout. Virna Jandaroba, 2nd round sub. Braxton Smith, 1st round knockout. Phil Hawes, 1st round knockout. Rafael Estevam, robbery, split decision for Zhalgas, and then Claudio Ribeiro, 1st round knockout, and then Daniel Santos, 2nd round knockout. So you got lots of knockouts for me as well. Lou, what are your quick picks for this week?
All right, well, I got to do all that now too. I'm going to go Cejudo round 5 because it pays more than round 4. Gilbert Burns round 3 submission. Jan decision. Evloev decision. Kron Gracie round 1 sub. Dober round 1 KO. Nzechukwu round 2 KO. Khaos Williams round 1 KO. Virna, I don't really have any opinion on that fight. Parker Porter round 1 KO. Shout out to Pepe Sylvia for that prop.
Wasn't it like 12-1?
It's 8-1 now, but still, it's pretty good. I mean, Phil Hawes round 2 KO. Estevam split decision because, of course, Ribeiro round 1 KO and Daniel Santos round 2 KO.
Let's go. Lots of KOs. Monk, do you have a lot of KOs as well?
No, actually. I have a lot of decisions for the most part. We've got actually, I'm going to go Johnny Munoz Jr. decision. We're going to go Hibero by finish. We're going to go Zumagulov by split decision. It's vengeance time, baby. We're going to go Phil Hawes by finish. We're going to go, let's see, Parker Porter by decision. We're going to go Marina Rodriguez by decision. We're going to go Chaos Williams decision. Kennedy inside the distance. We're going to go... Dang, I want to pick for... we're going to go Drew Dober by finish. We're going to go Kron Gracie, very early submission win. Movsar Evloev by extremely high-scoring decision. Jéssica Andrade by finish, although I would prefer if she wins a decision. We're going to go Belal by decision and then Sterling by decision to finish it off.
All right, so no violence for Monk.
I just saw that plus 3.5 is minus 145
for Zalgas, right?
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. Like,
yeah, because he's going to win at least
minus 180.
Round.
Well, I mean, but if he loses 30-27, you win.
No,
not
on every card. He
has to win at least one.
Oh, it's all the cards combined.
It's all the cards added together. Yeah.
Oh, well, forget about that because he could go 29-28, 28-29, and then 30-25 because the judge just hates him.
Yeah.
Judges do hate him. They hate him. And they're probably going to hate his haircut, honestly. Like,
man, I don't know what the hell happened there. I mean, that is bizarre. I still think it's Photoshop. That is so messed up that's his haircut.
I mean, it looks like he grew it and then just chop, 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 chop.
Yeah.
He looks like the girl from Hey Arnold. Like she has those bangs. He has those Hey Arnold bangs. You guys know Hey Arnold?
I don't know.
Google that shit.
I'll have to Google it when we get off here, Monk. But all right, we did it. Fun show, fun card, very fun card. We're gonna kick it around. We'll start with you, Monk. Let the people know where they can find you and what you got going on for the rest of the week for some content.
Yeah, Dixon knows her name was indeed Helga. Well, I didn't know it was Helga. See, he definitely knows what I'm talking about. Game Theory is out. I will be recording Salary Voodoo as soon as we're done here. That'll be out either later tonight or tomorrow morning on the MMA Engine. We just recorded the Kill Shot podcast on DFS Army. It's Monk and Lou's happy hour on Friday at 4:30. Yeah, there you go. Boom.
Come on, man.
What are you talking about? You put his face up there. You mocked him for 120 seconds straight. I say he looks like Helga from Hey Arnold. I get a come on, man. Who are you? Who says come on, man? Who's the dude that says yeah? On NFL. That's who I'm trying to reference and can't think of.
Smith, right? Is that
Michael Irvin? Michael Irvin. Come on, man.
Yeah. Easy, Michael Irvin. See, that would have been better if I said it right away. But that's it for me.
Perfect. Lou, you got a lot going on, multiple shows. I'll be on one of those shows. Let them know about what you got going on the rest of the week.
Tomorrow recording, props to consider, and then maybe bet with the venerable Uncle Weezy and Monk's partner, Kyle Marley. That's the prop show. Doing the same game parlay show sometime late Thursday night with Brady and Johnny K-Pix. The Horsemen are riding 9:30 tomorrow on the MMA Engine channel. In lieu of Gordo, it will be myself, Wiz, Liam, and Narco Cop. Friday happy hour with Monk, and then off to New Jersey.
Let's go. Be safe.
To go drink with Propaholic and Mushroom and be the happiest guy ever.
That sounds like a time.
It's definitely a thing that could exist in the world. Yes.
It will be, yes. Weezy, let the people know what you got going on throughout the rest of the week.
Yeah, good luck in New Jersey, Lou. I spent a week there one night. It is... Oof. But anyway, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Uncle Weezy. I'll be going live tonight around 10 o'clock Central Time for a little Ask Weezy and a little bit of prize picks content. And I'll give you guys a greasy four-leg parlay on my channel later on this week. And I think other than that, I'm done for the week and just going to enjoy watching these fights, stacking cash tickets like flapjacks, and bathing in the blood of our vanquished Draftkings enemies. Let's go.
Let's get it. Yeah, I'm doing the same game parlay show with Lou. Can't wait for that. I'm going live Friday for the final thoughts, and I'll be going live Saturday twice. I'm going to do like a fight day live chat. And then also for best bet, we got Narco, we got Weezy, and then potentially Danny Betts. I still got to hit him up about it. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Leave a like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. Do appreciate it. And best of luck for UFC 288. See you guys later.